Welcome back to Street Switch Photography. Here we go for another one. Nigel Farage hits back at Keir Starmer. Oh dear, what a week.
Street Switch Photography.
So welcome back to another episode of Street Switch Photography. Yes, Nigel Farage has hit back at Keir Starmer after all of the verbal diarrhea that the Labour Party decided to, let's just say, drivel at the latest conference. We had David Lammy accusing Nigel Farage of things that would be classed, I would class as defamation of character and libel, and now David Lammy is absolutely shattered himself in case Nigel Farage actually sues him. We've got Keir Starmer basically telling us the way everything's going to be in the future in Great Britain. The only explanation I have got for this behaviour is quite literally Labour want reform in for the next government because they have made the biggest mess of this. I did not think they could make any more of a mess than what they've actually made. It's ridiculous. Keir Starmer actually went off on one like he looked like Hitler. He went off his mind. The amount of times he mentioned reform, Nigel Farage, was unbelievable. I lost count at around 10. Now, he was waffling for about an hour, of which none of it hardly made any sense. He was talking about patriotism. He was talking about all kinds of things, which was just quite strange. Very strange behaviour from Keir Starmer, from Miss Mahood, from David Lammy, from all of the top knobs at, well, basically Labour. So let's see what Nigel Farage had to say about it, because I think his response is genius.
I used to think the Prime Minister was a decent man, somebody that I could talk to and chat to. We might disagree on worldview, but I thought he was a profoundly decent human being. I am completely shocked at his behaviour.
You are. I mean, honest to God, the bloke was actually shouting at the audience like some sort of madman, like he'd lost his mind. He is definitely a lefty.
I hope when he wakes up tomorrow morning, he feels ashamed of what he has done.
Comment from the Melton Mafia. They're absolutely shitting themselves. Yes, they are, mate. 100%. Honest to God, this was an absolute car crash for Labour. An absolute tram crash, however you want to explain it. He's basically, another one was that I've heard, and this is actually true because I've just been watching it on 2CTV, Keir Starmer is now trying to implement, you're not allowed to call a foreigner.
This is a desperate...
Yeah, a foreigner. What a tit.
Last throw of the dice from a Prime Minister who's in deep trouble. A Prime Minister who can't even command the support of half of his own party. But I'm sorry to say, I now believe that he is unfit to be the Prime Minister of our country.
What, you didn't realise that nearly, 14 months ago?
Nigel Farage, they're reacting to a conference speech that was absolutely chock full of references to...
I mean, it's literally been absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Pick up the 150 gig data
Keir
SIM from
Starmer
O2
was like,
and
it was
save
like
up
he
to
was Hitler or
104.
something. It was like it took over.
Or one that succumbs
I'm going to try
against
and
the
find
grain
it,
of our history
if I can.
to the politics of grievance. It is a test, a fight for the soul of our country.
Keir Starmer took special aim at...
Thinks he's fucking Hitler or something. I don't know. He thinks he's bloody Churchill or... I don't know. I don't quite know what it was he was trying to achieve. Because whatever it was, he definitely hasn't
Good
achieved
afternoon.
it.
Well, the Labour Party conference is over. The second party conference of our governing Labour Party, a party that won the general election with a massive majority, but finds itself just 14 months in.
This is the video that I wanted to show you originally, not the Sky News one. This is what Nigel Farage had to say about the conference.
In very deep and in many ways deserved trouble. It's been an extraordinary conference. I've been watching party conferences for half a century. Never before have I seen one name so dominate a conference. And the remarkable thing is, it's somebody that isn't even a member of the Labour Party. Yes, it's me, Nigel Farage, and I thought the Mac cartoon on the front of today's Telegraph summed the whole thing up rather beautifully. The sketch was two delegates leaving the Labour Party conference, one saying to the other, next year we're going to the Reform conference because they don't talk about Nigel Farage all the time.
Now, you've got to admit, whether you love or you hate Nigel Farage, you know for a fact that he's got the best interests at heart, or what he thinks is the best interests at heart of Great Britain. And then you look at Starmer. He is anti-British, and he's standing there pretending to be British, trying to change Great Britain into China with his little identification cards, which he says will only be for ID, won't be for anything else. There'll be no social credit scoring system. Well, guess what? Guess who's pushing it? Tony Blair. And guess who's got vested interests in it as well? Tony Blair's son. So more and more evidence piles up against Keir Starmer, Tony Blair and all the others while they're still trying to implement this ID card. It is not going to happen. It's funny because there's now an upsurge in buying of Nokia phones, the old ones, the ones that were basically indestructible. But a little tip for you. You can buy a cheap phone from Tesco's Mobile for £25. It's already unlocked. You can put any SIM chip you want in it. You won't be able to have digital ID. I am willing to go back 5 or 6 steps in mobile phones so they do not try and get me to have digital ID, because I'm telling you now, I will not accept it. I will not accept it. None of my family will accept it unless they want to, but I strongly advise against it. They're trying to change it into China. And it's disgusting. This is the end. I'm telling you now, this is the end of Labour as we know it. They're trying to say we've come to a crossroads. Yeah, we have. And we all know which road we want to take. Let's hear what Nigel Farage had to say.
It has been obsessive. Whether it's the Home Secretary, whether it's the Health Secretary, it is a constant attack on me.
Leave My Rights Alone has said it's all theatre. Correct. I believe that as well. But the way that Keir Starmer went off on one on several occasions whilst at the conference, it was like he lost his mind. He was screaming down the microphone. He a typical dictator, an authoritarian, and it was very worrying, very worrying.
And what I stand for, and what we as Reform UK, a party that has led the opinion polls now for over 100 polls, it's an attack on everything that we stand for and believe in. What I've learnt this week is that the government are incapable of beating us on our arguments. And as a result...
Yeah, because anything that Reform tend to say, David Lammy, Keir Starmer or any of the others tend to call it racist. That does. We've told them time after time, this slur does not work. It doesn't wash anymore. Everybody knows why you do it and the reasons behind it. It doesn't work anymore. You are wasting your breath. You can call us racists, fascists, far right, Nazis, anything you like. It will not work because the public don't give a fuck anymore.
The Prime Minister has decided to descend into the gutter and all of his cabinet with him. Let us be clear. Reform want illegal migrants deported from our country. And as I speak, a further 400
Note, he said illegal migrants.
have crossed the English Channel today. Reform want the benefit system to be for UK citizens, for British citizens.
For the people that have paid into it. For the people that have paid national insurance for years that might have all of a sudden been struck down with illness and can no longer work. And they've worked all their lives right up until the age of 50, and then a migrant comes along and stays in a hotel for absolutely free while we've got veterans sleeping on the streets. That's what he wants it for. Now, if that is wrong or immoral or far right or racist in any way, shape or form, then I am a racist because that's what I want.
Only not for foreign-born nationals.
Oh, don't say foreign. You can't say that, Nigel. You'll be arrested. You can't call a foreigner No, don't say that. That's racist, that is. Oh, no. That's it now. Reform are done because he said the word foreigner. I know.
Reform want foreign criminals
Oh, God, he did it again. Disgusting language. I'd rather him drop the C-bomb.
removed from our country ASAP. Labour says these policies are racist and immoral.
There you go. They say that they're racist. What's racist about them? They can't answer that question. You ask them what is racist about this policy. They go on about the Windrush generation, which was under the Tory government, by the way, and the Labour government, by the way. They go on about that we're deporting people because of the skin colour and all this lot. That made up word as well, Islamophobia. And now apparently the word foreigner is a racial slur.
And by implication, Reform supporters, Reform voters, Reform sympathisers are racist too. Yes, if you think we should control our borders, you are, by the definition of the Prime Minister and his cabinet, all racists.
So what should happen now is everybody that voted Reform should ring the police and have Keir Starmer, David Lammy and Miss Mahood arrested for hate speech. How do you think that would go down? Do you think they'd actually get arrested? No. Why? Because they control the mainstream media and the police, just like they do in China. Funny that, eh?
Now, I don't normally worry about abuse being thrown at me. I've got kind of used to it over the course of the last few years. But to accuse countless millions of being racist is a very, very low blow. Why? Well,
it's the lowest Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Miss Mahood and the rest of them have actually gone, in my opinion. I don't think they can go any lower. They should call a general election tomorrow.
Language will incite and encourage the radical left. I'm thinking of Antifa and other organisations like that. It directly threatens the safety of our elected officials and our campaigners. And frankly, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk murder, I think this is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
I used to think the Prime Minister was a decent man, somebody that I could talk to and chat to. We might disagree on worldview, but I thought he was a profoundly decent human being.
That's funny that, because I never thought he was a decent human being, especially after he had his car firebombed by a Ukrainian model, a male Ukrainian model. That never got rectified, did it? Or rectified, whatever you want to call it.
Completely shocked at his behaviour. I hope when he wakes up tomorrow morning, he feels ashamed of what he has done. This is a desperate last throw of the dice from a Prime Minister who's in deep trouble. A Prime Minister who can't even command the support.
There is no way he can stay as a Prime Minister after what he said on that stage. There's no way Lemmy can stay as anything, as an MP after what he said, accusing Nigel Farage of something to do with youth Nazis back in the 70s and 60s when they didn't even exist, and then turned around and completely denied it and then took all of it back because he realised that he may have committed libel. What a pillock.
Of half of his own party. But I'm sorry to say, I now believe that he is unfit to be the Prime Minister of our country.
Yeah, 100%.
His bizarre attempt this afternoon.
And he's only got himself to blame. As I said before, he's totally and utterly out of touch with the UK. He doesn't want what is right for the British people. He doesn't want what is right for anybody that likes the English flag. He pretends to like the English flag. He thinks it stands for something completely different to what it actually stands for. He thinks it stands to let everybody in and take everything that isn't theirs and harm everybody. That's what he seems to think it stands for. So when he stands there and talks about patriotism, how fucking dare he? How dare he? He is taking away the rights that our families fought for on the beaches, in the skies with the Spitfires and everything that Churchill fought for. He's taking that all away.
to invert patriotism and the love of flag was quite extraordinary. This is still the Labour Party of Gordon Brown. Remember that bigoted woman who talks about mass immigration? It's still the Labour Party of Emily Thornberry, who thought the Cross of St George on a van in Rochester was something truly awful. It's a Labour Party that could never accept any sense of English identity, even if it was more tolerant of Scottish or Irish or Welsh identity. Starmer says, I don't like or love this country. Well, let me say this. For 30 years, I've fought for British sovereignty. I fought for us to be a self-governing nation. Why? Because I always believed the best people to govern Britain were the British people themselves. And him, well, he, of course, didn't like the vote. The greatest result, the biggest democratic mandate ever given in this country.
Brexit.
When in 2016 we voted Brexit. Now, he spent the next few years
Trying to reverse it.
trying to overturn that result.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe we should govern ourselves. He's happy, be it Brussels, be it the UN, be it a series of foreign courts. He's happy for us to be governed.
You said it again, Nigel. Foreign. You're not allowed to say that, according to Keir Starmer.
From there. He does not believe.
Is it just me, or is Keir Starmer, David Lemmy, and Miss Mahood, and all of the rest, well, the whole of the Labour Party, as thick as actual pig shit? There must be. I mean, these ideas they have, they're a bunch of literal ideologues.
Believe in Britain. He does not believe
Unbelievably.
in the Britain that most of you out there believe.
I didn't think anybody could be that stupid and that out of touch and living in their own world. I find it repulsive.
Believe in. And his total level of denial over broken Britain is quite extraordinary. We all know the roads are clogged in a way they never were before. We all know you can't get a GP appointment. We all know that crime is out of control. So much so that here in London, men don't wear watches, women don't wear jewellery, and don't get your mobile phone out.
They wear stab vests, is what they wear. Auditors walking the streets recording have to wear stab vest and have bodyguards. That's how bad the crime has actually got. Now, the auditors are the ones that are bringing you the real news. As it happens, they travel the country doing this. These are the real journalists. These are the ones that are putting their life at risk to show you exactly what it is that's going on. A good example would be DJE Media, AY Audits, DP Audits. And Channel 4 did a hit piece on AY Audits, and it was a total and utter failure.
Otherwise, somebody on a moped.
Because Labour control the mainstream media.
Will take it. Britain is broken and it needs fixing. And our vision for the future is the positive one. We believe that we can do it. This Labour conference lacks any vision, and we are going to continue, I'm sorry to say, in economic, social and cultural decline. But Starmer is right about one thing. We are facing a big fork in the road. He is a human rights lawyer who will...
A human rights lawyer. So what that basically means is anybody that's entered this country illegally, he would have been the lawyer that they turned to keep them in the country. He'd find some loophole somewhere, or he'd tell them to pretend that they're Christians or pretend that they're gay, or some sort of human right to keep them in the country, even though it would be a lie. That's who Keir Starmer is. He's also a member of the Fabian Society.
Bow down to foreign courts and to outdated treaties. And he has no idea of the division that open borders have caused within our communities, or indeed the anger and the sense of unfairness that people feel over two-tier policing and two-tier justice under two-tier Keir. What he and the rest don't understand.
Keir Starmer.
And the reason we're leading in the polls is this country has had enough of a failing, gutless political class. It wants real change. Now look, I'm not a vindictive person in any way at all, but reform will teach Keir Starmer and the Labour Party a lesson next May. Next May are our equivalent of the midterms, when the whole of Wales, Scotland, London and many other parts of the country will go out to vote on the first Thursday in May. We will teach Starmer a lesson next May that British political history will never forget. I am now, as a result of this week and the abuse that has been heaped upon our supporters and our voters, more determined than ever. Don't underestimate that.
A few moments later. A few moments later. A few moments later. A few moments later.
So there you go. That is the end of Nigel Farage's hit back at Keir Starmer and the Labour conference that was going on for the last 3 days, where Keir Starmer stood there and literally dribbled tons and tons of verbal diarrhea along with his other representatives.
If you are sleeping in a position like this.
So the takeaway from this is, don't vote Labour. Fight back against the digital ID. Fight back so you can still have your free speech, your patriotism, and your right to express yourself how you see fit. Do not let Labour take this away from you, because they will. And it'll all begin with the digital ID, and then it will get bigger and bigger, and before you know it, you will be having to scan once a day so you can go and buy a certain amount of food. They will control how much you eat, how much you spend, where you go, when you go there, and everything. And we can't let this happen. This has been Street Switch Photography. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Go and hit the notification bell. And I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.
Street Switch Photography.